They were the untouchable royalty of the silver screen, radiating a glamour that seemed absolutely otherworldly. At least that was the carefully crafted illusion they sold us. These icons of the 1980s didn't just walk the red carpet, they owned it, setting the gold standard for beauty and breaking hearts with a single glance. But we all know that Tinseltown is a beast with a voracious appetite, and Father Time remains undefeated. From jaw-dropping physical alterations to career-ending scandals, the true stories behind these legends are shocking enough to make you gasp and absurd enough to make you chuckle in disbelief. The transformation was nothing short of terrifyingly absolute. She went from a timid waitress to a warrior so fierce she scared the living daylights out of her own doctors. Linda Hamilton will forever be etched in cinematic history as Sarah Connor, the fierce matriarch of the Terminator franchise. It was the role of a lifetime that catapulted her to the summit of the A-list during the neon-soaked days of the 1980s and 1990s. With arms of steel and a gaze that could cut glass, she redefined what it meant to be a female action hero. She wasn't just acting, she embodied pure, unadulterated resilience, earning the undying respect of fans across the globe. However, while the world applauded her on-screen toughness, Hamilton was fighting a war on the home front that the cameras never saw. Long before she received the clarity of a proper medical diagnosis, she was locked in a brutal combat with undiagnosed bipolar disorder. To survive the devastating highs and crushing lows of mania and depression, she self-medicated, turning to the bottle and illicit substances just to make it through the day. This chaotic lifestyle began to erode her physical well-being and cast a long, dark shadow over a career that should have been shining bright. Fortunately, the story didn't end in tragedy. After seeking professional help and embracing sobriety, Linda Hamilton clawed her way back, reclaiming her agency and becoming a vocal champion for mental health destigmatization. Her journey from the depths of addiction to a place of peace stands as a powerful beacon of hope for anyone navigating the stormy waters of mental illness. It is a heavy topic, but one we need to talk about. Have you or someone close to you ever faced similar mental health challenges? Drop a yes in the comments if you're comfortable sharing, or simply to show some love for Linda's incredible bravery and advocacy. Now let's talk about the ultimate party girl who flew too close to the sun, Tara Reid. With her crystal blue eyes and infectious energy, she was the it girl of the late 1990s, stealing scenes in generational hits like American Pie and The Big Lebowski. For a fleeting moment, it looked like the party would never end, with an endless supply of fame, fun, and adoration on tap. But then came a plot twist straight out of a horror movie. In 2004, seeking perfection, Tara went under the knife for body contouring and breast augmentation. The results were catastrophic. Instead of the confidence boost she was promised, she was left with significant scarring and irregularities across her stomach and chest. To make matters worse, a notorious wardrobe slip-up on the red carpet exposed her surgical scars to the world, triggering a vicious cycle of tabloid cruelty and public body shaming. Hollywood, an industry famous for chewing people up and spitting them out, turned its back on her almost overnight. Away from the flashbulbs, Tara was also grappling with alcohol dependency, checking herself into rehab in 2008 to get clean. Even though she didn't reclaim her spot on the A-list, she refused to let the haters win. Flash forward to today, and Tara Reid is still standing, still working, and rewriting her narrative scars, headlines and all. She is a survivor in a town that loves a victim. I want you more than I ever wanted any other. That line wasn't just a script, it was the collective feeling of every moviegoer watching her. Kelly LeBrock didn't just participate in the 1980s, she was the decade's ultimate fantasy. With that wild mane of hair and those striking lips, she was undeniable. She skyrocketed to supermodel stardom and cemented her status as a pop culture deity in classics like The Woman in Red and the cult favourite Weird Science. Producers were lining up and the public was spellbound by her exotic, effortless charisma. She was the woman every man wanted and every woman wanted to be. Yet beneath the veneer of magazine covers and premieres, her reality was rapidly unravelling. Her marriage to action star Steven Seagal was reportedly volatile, And the subsequent divorce was a messy public affair that made her personal life more dramatic than fiction. The gossip rags had a field day speculating endlessly about nose jobs, facelifts and fillers, although Kelly kept her lips sealed on the matter. The truth was, her retreat from the limelight wasn't about botched vanity, it was about survival. Battling her own demons with alcohol, Kelly made the bold decision to trade the Hollywood Shark Tank for a quiet life in the countryside to raise her kids in peace. These days, she focuses her energy on philanthropy, specifically aiding terminally ill children. Her screen time may have diminished, but her heart has only grown larger. Kelly LeBrock remains a legend, teaching us that sometimes the most powerful move a star can make is to simply walk away. And then there was her unforgettable turn in Peggy Sue Got Married. Kathleen Turner was never the girl next door. She was a force of nature who kicked down the doors of Hollywood in the 1980s. With a voice like whiskey over gravel and a smoulder that could burn through celluloid, she dominated the box office in hits like Body Heat in 1981 and Romancing the Stone in 1984. She wasn't just a movie star, she was a cinematic event. Turner redefined the femme fatale, proving that a sex symbol could have brains bite and a dangerous edge. When she spoke, you didn't just hear it, you felt it in your bones. But life has a nasty habit of flipping the script when you least expect it. In the mid-1990s, tragedy struck when she was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, a debilitating autoimmune disease that ravaged her joints and made movement agony. At the absolute pinnacle of her power, her body revolted, forcing her to retreat from the action-heavy roles she was famous for. In a candid admission years later, she revealed she used alcohol to numb the excruciating physical pain, a coping mechanism that unfortunately blurred her focus and damaged her reputation in the industry. While the tabloids buzzed with cruel rumours about plastic surgery to explain her changing appearance, Turner held her head high. She never confirmed the gossip, and honestly, her legacy as a titan of cinema speaks louder than any rumour mill ever could. Even after enduring decades of hardships and stepping away from the limelight for extended periods, Kathleen Turner's legendary status refuses to fade away. It serves as a powerful reminder that genuine star power never truly vanishes. It merely bides its time, waiting in the shadows for the perfect opportunity to dazzle the world once again. But we want to hear from you which other icons belong on this list. Drop your top picks in the comments section below, and if you are enjoying this deep dive into Hollywood history, make sure to smash that like button, share with a friend, and subscribe for more scandalous deep dives. Speaking of captivating stories and things that are impossible to ignore, let's shift our focus to another blonde, bombshell who redefined an era. Kim Basinger didn't just exist in Hollywood during the 1980s and 1990s. She absolutely dominated the cultural conversation, captivating global audiences with a refined beauty and cool elegance that seemed almost otherworldly. She cast a spell over moviegoers in massive blockbusters like Batman in 1989 and the noir masterpiece L.A. Confidential, where she perfectly embodied that rare, intoxicating mix of raw sensuality and vintage Tinseltown charm. Whenever she appeared on the silver screen, Kim projected an air of effortless glamour, looking like she woke up camera ready. She successfully crafted an iconic public image that felt timeless, ethereal, and completely untouchable to the average person. However, if you peeled back the layers of that polished exterior, you would find that her personal journey was riddled with obstacles far more difficult than any role she played. While she has remained tight-lipped and never publicly confirmed going under the knife, whispers and rumours of minor cosmetic tweaks have dogged her steps as she matured, highlighting the brutal and intense pressure placed on ageing women in the entertainment business. But cosmetic gossip pales in comparison to her internal battles. Basinger fought a debilitating war against social anxiety disorder and agoraphobia. She suffered from severe, paralysing panic attacks that wreaked havoc on her ability to function, deeply impacting both her professional trajectory and her private relationships. To make matters worse, financial ruin threatened to destroy everything she had built. At one distinct low point, she faced near total bankruptcy following a catastrophic decision to purchase an entire town, a financial crisis that nearly ended her career. Yet, despite facing these monumental challenges, Kim Basinger endured the storm, proving that true grit and resilience often reside behind the most delicate and elegant smiles. Brigitte Nielsen was a force of nature who was never designed to fade quietly into the background or be ignored. With her statuesque towering height and a striking Amazon-like appearance that commanded attention the second she walked into a room. The Danish actress and model transformed into a bona fide beauty icon and symbol of excess during the neon-soaked era of the 1980s. She kick-started her journey stomping down high-fashion runways before storming the gates of Hollywood, instantly grabbing international headlines with action-heavy roles like the title character in Red Sonja in 1985. And of course Rocky IV in 1985, where she held her own and looked physically imposing even next to screen titans like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. At the absolute peak of her fame, it felt like the party would never end. But behind that tough, armour-clad on-screen persona, her real life was spinning a much more complicated and painful narrative. After hitting the dizzying heights of her career, Nielsen found herself in a downward spiral, struggling deeply with severe alcohol addiction. She eventually took her battle public, checking into reality television therapy on Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew back in 2007 to confront her demons. Then, in 2008, she decided to bear it all openly, discussing her decision to undergo multiple cosmetic surgeries, including a full facelift breast augmentation and liposuction, all in a desperate bid to cling to her youthful image. Rather than hiding her transformation behind a wall of silence, she chose radical honesty, a bold move that ignited a firestorm of both harsh criticism and begrudging respect from the public. Despite the rollercoaster of personal drama and professional setbacks, Brigitte Nielsen simply refused to throw in the towel. Her triumphant return to the big screen in Creed 2 in 2018 was the ultimate clapback, proving that resilience and determination can outlive even the worst tabloid headlines. This brings up an interesting debate. What is your take on modern celebrities and influencers who rely heavily on digital filters and secret surgeries to curate their impossible looks? Do you think this deceptive trend needs to end, or is it time for everyone to just be more transparent about the work they have had done? I am genuinely curious to read your perspective, so sound off in the comments below. But for now, let's get back to our list of legends. There is an old saying that love is grand, but divorce is 100 grand, or in Hollywood, usually much more. Kirstie Alley possessed a rare and magnetic kind of presence, the specific type of charisma that could illuminate an entire living room just by flickering onto a television screen. Best remembered for her breakout beloved role on the smash hit sitcom Cheers, Kirstie Alley cemented herself as one of Hollywood's most recognisable faces, earning critical acclaim and prestigious hardware, including a Golden Globe. With her sharp, expressive features, that trademark voluminous blonde hair, and an effortless, biting wit, she defined a specific brand of glamour for audiences throughout the 1980s and 1990s. Yet, even with all the accolades, the spotlight never left her personal life untouched or unexamined. When the cameras stopped rolling, Kirstie's personal struggles were frequently dragged into the public square, specifically her long, fluctuating and very human battle with her weight. She tackled the issue with her signature humour and openness, even signing on as the face of Jenny Craig, effectively turning her vulnerability into a platform for visibility. Nevertheless, her changing silhouette sparked endless cruel headlines and controversy, which quietly chipped away at her casting opportunities in the years following the conclusion of Cheers. The tragic irony wasn't lost on her devoted fan base. The woman who brought joy and laughter to millions was often fighting private battles that no punchline could resolve. Sadly, in December of 2022, the world lost Kirstie Alley after a short, fierce battle following a cancer diagnosis. It was a heartbreaking truth her family revealed shortly after her passing, reminding us that she left behind a legacy far greater than just roles and trophies. She left behind a legacy of laughter, raw honesty, and a poignant reminder that behind every superstar image is a deeply human story. Her light may have dimmed, but her warmth continues to glow. Daryl Hannah once possessed an aesthetic that looked as if she had stepped straight out of a fantasy dreamscape, or perhaps descended from another planet entirely. with her ethereal mermaid-like beauty, cascading blonde waves, porcelain skin, and those unforgettable piercing eyes. Daryl Hannah became the ultimate symbol of mysterious allure and fantasy during the height of the 1980s and 1990s. Her performances in cult classics and blockbusters like Blade Runner and Kill Bill left an indelible mark on cinema history, proving she could play characters that were both mesmerizingly otherworldly and dangerously lethal. For decades, fans worshipped her as the ultimate natural beauty, a mermaid-esque icon who seemed completely immune to the ravages of time. However, in recent years, that carefully maintained illusion has shattered, sparking intense debates across social media and tabloid covers alike. Hannah's physical appearance has undergone a radical and noticeable transformation, fueling a wildfire of speculation that she has fallen victim to excessive and perhaps botched cosmetic procedures. Although the actress fiercely maintains that she has never gone under the knife, the high-definition paparazzi photos circulating online tell a vastly different and somewhat jarring story to the naked eye. Leading cosmetic surgeons and industry experts suggest she has likely dabbled heavily in Botox injectable fillers and possibly blepharoplasty, citing the unnatural puffiness in her cheeks and the altered shape of her eyes as dead giveaways. This drastic change has stirred a deep sense of nostalgia and sadness among her Day One fans who long for the fresh-faced, enchanting star who captured hearts in the 80s. While beauty standards are constantly shifting and the clock never stops ticking, Daryl Hannah serves as a stark living reminder that even Hollywood's most magical and mythical faces are undeniably human. Even the biggest stars eventually have to answer to gravity, no matter how hard they fight it. Liza Minnelli was born directly into the purple of Hollywood royalty, yet she managed to claw her way out of the shadows to carve her own legendary path. Being the daughter of the immortal Judy Garland and visionary director Vincente Minnelli meant crushing expectations followed her every single step. But Liza didn't just meet those expectations, she answered them with a raw, undeniable talent that was all her own. She rocketed to global superstardom as a triple threat powerhouse, cementing her legacy by snatching the Academy Award for Best Actress for her defining, electrifying performance in Cabaret back in 1972. In her prime, she was worshipped not just for her voice, but for her striking, unconventional beauty, those massive, expressive eyes, and a unique brand of timeless Hollywood elegance that defined an era. Yet, behind the sequins and the glamour, Minnelli's private life was a battlefield filled with devastating personal challenges and tragedies. Throughout the wild days of the 1970s and into the 1980s, she fought a publicised war with alcohol and substance addiction, resulting in a revolving door of hospitalisations and rehab stints that frequently derailed her momentum. Whispers of extensive cosmetic surgery swirled around her for years, fueled by her changing looks, though she maintained a dignified silence and never addressed the gossip publicly. Then, in the year 2000, her health took a terrifying nosedive when she was diagnosed with viral encephalitis, a severe condition that doctors predicted would leave her unable to walk or speak ever again. Defying every medical prediction, Liza Minnelli fought her way back from the brink, continuing to take the stage with a resilience and strength that borders on the miraculous. I spent my entire childhood looking up to Liza Minnelli as the ultimate showbiz survivor. What about you guys? Drop the number 1 in the comments section below if you adore her as much as I do, and don't go anywhere because we have more legends coming up in just a moment. Victoria Principal didn't just portray a fiery, passionate character on primetime television, she was the fire itself. Best remembered for her role as the moral compass Pamela Ewing on the mega-hit series Dallas. Throughout the 1970s and 80s, Victoria became the gold standard for beauty brains and raw talent in Tinseltown, with her jaw-dropping looks, sculpted features, and a physique that seemed mathematically perfect. She was universally hailed as one of the most stunning actresses to ever grace the small screen during her generation. But as her fame reached stratospheric levels, the rumour mill began working overtime. The speculation reached a fever pitch after she tied the knot with high-profile plastic surgeon Harry Glassman, leading everyone to assume she had unlimited access to the operating table to freeze her youth. She consistently and vehemently shut those rumours down, attributing her ageless visage to disciplined skincare routines, clean living, and self-love rather than surgical shortcuts, and she put her money where her mouth was. In 1989, she pivoted from acting to entrepreneurship by launching Principal Secret, a skincare empire that proved she was a savvy businesswoman who knew exactly what she was selling. Even after facing a scary diagnosis of a genetic clotting disorder, Victoria's health and career have remained rock solid, defying the odds. Today, she still radiates a youthful vitality that suggests her commitment to wellness creates results that a scalpel simply can't mimic. If you're loving these deep dives into Hollywood history, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around. We are just getting started with the truth bombs. I recognised your foul stench when I was brought on board. That attitude wasn't just a line, it was a lifestyle. Carrie Fisher was never content to be just another pretty movie star. She was a chaotic force of nature, armed with a razor-sharp wit and a beautifully fragile heart. While she is forever burned into the collective pop culture consciousness as Princess Leia Organa in the Star Wars saga, Carrie Fisher evolved into an unforgettable symbol of 1970s and 1980s cinema, transcending the genre. With her unconventional beauty, fearless sense of humour and undeniable charisma, she injected grit and femininity into a role that completely redefined what a sci-fi heroine looked like. Leia didn't sit around waiting to be saved by the boys, and in real life, neither did Carrie. However, behind the iconic cinnamon bun hairstyle and the brave face, her reality was a turbulent storm. Fisher openly waged war against severe addiction and mental health demons for decades. Her harrowing struggles with cocaine and prescription medications kicked off in the late 1970s and haunted her through the 80s, even affecting her arguably most famous performance in The Empire Strikes Back. Later famously diagnosed with bipolar disorder, she faced immense psychological pressure under the public microscope, and she met those challenges with brutal, unflinching honesty and a dark, self-deprecating humour that became her trademark. She laid her soul bare in her best-selling memoir Wishful Drinking, alchemizing her pain into truth and using laughter as a survival mechanism. Sadly, in her final years, the health complications began to pile up. Carrie Fisher tragically left us in December of 2016 following a massive heart attack, leaving the entire world in a state of shock and mourning. She is remembered today not just as a princess in a galaxy far, far away, but as a fearless truth teller who was flawed, hilarious, and fiercely, beautifully human. Like a stolen getaway car, Faye Dunaway burst onto the silver screen with a presence so sharp and dangerous it felt like it could cut right through glass. As a defining leading lady of Hollywood's golden resurgence, she delivered performances that are still studied today, starting with the crime classic Bonnie and Clyde in 1967. She continued her hot streak in the noir masterpiece Chinatown in 1974 before finally capturing the Academy Award for her explosive manic role in Network in 1976. Back in her absolute prime, Faye Dunaway wasn't just a star, she was a total phenomenon. With those razor-sharp cheekbones and a gaze intense enough to cut glass, she defined the very essence of New Hollywood cool throughout the 1960s and 1970s, embodying a mix of dangerous elegance and raw explosive talent. However, history teaches us that level of blinding stardom rarely comes without a massive side order of chaos and turbulence. As the decades rolled on, the narrative started to shift from her Oscar-worthy performances to her increasingly complicated personal life. She found herself battling serious health issues and fighting against a reputation that threatened to derail her entire career. Then came the relentless whispers about her changing face. The tabloid chatter about alleged facelifts, Botox and lip fillers reached a fever pitch after 2005 when she stepped out looking drastically different. While she never confirmed going under the knife, the public fascination with her transformation never really died down. But beyond the surface level gossip, there was a much deeper struggle at play. Faye courageously broke her silence and spoke openly about her diagnosis of bipolar disorder, shedding light on the internal battles she had been fighting behind closed doors. It is a serious condition she manages with medication today, but looking back, it explains so much of the erratic behaviour and the fiery outbursts that the media and critics were so quick to judge her for in the past. Yet, when you stack it all up, the scandals, the sheer on-screen brilliance and the public breakdowns, Faye Dunaway stands tall as a true survivor. She is perfectly imperfect, ferociously talented, and remains an absolute icon that cinema history will never be able to erase. Father Time is undefeated, and eventually he comes for everyone, treating silver screen goddesses just the same as the rest of us mortals. We've covered a lot of ground today. Some of these tales left us with our jaws on the floor. Others gave us a good chuckle. And a few were heartbreakingly real. I really appreciate you sticking around to hear the full story. If you live for the high-stakes drama, the golden age nostalgia, and the gritty truth behind the glitz and glam, do me a favour. Smash that subscribe button and ring the bell so you are the first to know when we upload. Because let's be honest, Tinseltown is an endless factory of scandals, and we are just getting started uncovering the secrets they try to hide.